What's going on, Dolphin fans? It is your boy Dillon, and I am doing one of my quick hit scouting report videos. This one is going to be for the Sunday night game that was played tonight versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady going back to Gillette Stadium to face Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Before I get to that, though, just real quick, want to let you know that tomorrow, as usual on Monday, tomorrow being Monday, I will do my post-game analysis video for the game against the Colts, so look out for that. But tonight I wanted to get this out of the way, and before I jump into the stats and the league standings and all that good stuff, which I will obviously also be doing an update for the Dolphins league standings, after, which includes obviously all of the week 4 games that were played up into tonight. It obviously doesn't include the Monday night game tomorrow, but we'll get to that whenever it happens tomorrow night, once it happens rather. So just real quick, when it comes to the Buccaneers, they got their win tonight. They're 3-1. Obviously we have to go play them this upcoming week. If I'm keeping it real, I don't see how we could beat the Bucs. New England showed some good things against the Patriots, and they kept them to, 19 points or whatever. But I just don't see how we're going to be able to keep up with them, just period. I think their defensive line is going to cause havoc for our offensive line. I think it's going to be a rough day. It could be a situation where they end up winning by like 2 touchdowns or by a 10+ point margin or something like that. So unfortunately, and we will likely drop to 1-4. You never know though. Of course, there's always some chance that, we upset them. There were some upsets this week for sure, including the Jets beating the Tennessee Titans, which we will get to later on in the week. But, I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. With the Patriots, and everything that has happened up to this point, now obviously the season is very long, but that last game of the season in Week 18 versus the New England Patriots isn't looking like it's going to be as easy or as sure of a thing as maybe we thought, a week or 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, that's a game that could go either way. Obviously, we don't want to lose that. If we did, though, we would end up splitting with the Patriots. Obviously, we would rather sweep the Patriots and, hopefully get into the playoffs. But, that seems to be slipping away more and more each week. But, yeah, so let's go ahead and get into this. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I meant to, let's see, I'm sorry, that's my Spotify. I just need to, there we go, switch over to the game so we can take a look at this. So the Patriots lost to the Bucs. The Bucs are now 3-1. Patriots are now 1-3, 19-17 game. The Patriots really could have won this game though too, and to some degree you might even be able to say they should have. But look, I'm going to keep it real, and from a Dolphins perspective, this isn't necessarily a good thing. But I got to be objective, and I got to be unbiased, man. I've been pretty impressed overall with Mac Jones through the first 4 weeks of the season. Now, let's keep it real. It's partly because of what they're asking him to do and how they're asking him to operate within that system. They have a solid offensive line, etc. But as you'll see when we even get to the league standings, they're throwing the ball more than I expected, and they're actually having success. So yeah, it's just an interesting thing to keep an eye on. But, I've said that obviously, the Bills are pretty comfortable with Josh Allen. But I've said that I think that, the Jets and the Patriots fan bases can probably feel pretty good about the future of their franchises as far as the quarterback situation goes, even though, they haven't exactly had the smoothest rookie seasons. Zach Wilson's had it a little bit tougher, overall. But, it is what it is. And especially in that case, obviously, not just a rookie, but rookie head coach. They're rebuilding, etc. So, anyway, let's get on with this. 19-17 was the final score. Let's get into... So, apparently, as of right now, the team stats do not want to pull up, so I'm going to go ahead and pull them up on my phone. This is annoying. I figured by now, I mean, I'm making this video at 11:23 p.m. my time, which has that, you know, that's what, 2:30 almost, East Coast time, right? So I would think that it would be, you know, all good to go, but apparently not. So I'm gonna have to just pull this up. I just skipped it on accident, so bear with me. I apologize. Okay. Stats. See, team stats. Okay, so I'm just gonna read this off my phone because apparently it doesn't want to show up on here. So it is. All right, so the Tampa Bay Bucs had 380 total yards, 294 for New England. New England had 295 yards, though. Well, this doesn't actually even make any sense. The shit says they had 294 total yards, but they... Oh, that's right. Because they ended the game with -1 rushing yards. That's right. The Patriots ended the game with -1 rushing yards, but they had 295 passing yards. Tampa Bay had 261 through the air and 119 on the ground. New England was 5.4 yards per play. Tampa Bay was 5.1. New England lost a fumble and threw an interception. Tampa Bay didn't turn it over at all. New England was 22% on third downs. Tampa Bay was 47. New England had the ball for 26 minutes and 5 seconds. Tampa Bay had it for 33:55. New England had 8 penalties and Tampa Bay had 7. All right, now let's move over to here because I can actually see them here and I can show them to you. I like to have the visual. Tom Brady was 22 of 43, 269, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Leonard Fournette led the way in the rushing game, 20 rushes, 91 yards, and a 4.6 average. Ronald Jones added 6 for 25 and a touchdown with a 4.2. Mike Evans led the way in the receiving, 7 of 12 for 75. Antonio Brown, 7 for 11 out of 6, or 7 out of 11 for 63. Chris Godwin, 3 of 5 for 55. Leonard Fournette, 3 of 5 for 47. Cameron Brate, 2 of 6 for 29. And that's about it there. Just do a quick jump down the list so you guys can see the rest of these stats as I normally do. Then we will speed back up to the top. And now also let's quickly note though that the Tampa Bay Bucs, man, they are, so, you know, and going to the game next week, if the Dolphins do want to have a chance, particularly on offense, they're going to need to test that secondary because they are really banged up for the Tampa Bay Bucs. They lost a couple guys to injury in this game too, including Antoine Winfield Jr., their stud safety. So, you know, that's going to be an area to exploit against the Tampa Bay Bucs if the Dolphins want to have any hope of, you know, having an upset. Anyway, so let's see. Mac Jones was 31 for 40, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Jacoby Myers had 2 passes for 45 yards. It was on some, like, trick play kind of stuff, but it was obviously effective. Rushing, well, as you can see, there really wasn't much in the way of rushing for the New England Patriots, and as we know, they ended up with -1 rushing yards overall, which, like I said, I'm actually kind of surprised that they've been throwing it as much as they have, but actually having as much success too. So it's interesting. I really thought they were gonna, you know, lean on their run game, but so far through the first 4 weeks of the season, that hasn't been so much the case. So, you know, it is what it is. Jacoby Myers was 8 for 12 for 70 yards. Kendrick Bourne, 5 of 5 for 58. Nelson Aguilar, 3 of 5 for 55. Brandon Bolden, 6 of 6, 51. Hunter Henry, 4 of 5 for 32 and a touchdown. Damian Harris, 2 of 2 for 30. Jonnu Smith, 3 of 5 for 14 and a touchdown. And N'Keal Harry, 1 for 10. And we'll just do a quick jump down through the rest of these stats. If you want to pause or take a look at it, go ahead and feel free. Otherwise, after that, we are going to swap over to my league standings. So we can, the updated league standings. Again, this is all the games through week 4 minus the Monday night game, which is obviously being played tomorrow night. This is for the New England Patriots and the Tampa Bay Bucs. At the end, though, I will actually talk through the changes that happened to the Dolphins league standings after this week. So, total yards, the Patriots have 1,247, which is 25th. 1,598 for the Bucs, which is currently ranked at 6th. Yards per game, the Pats are 26th with 311.8. The Bucs are 7th with 399.5. Total passing, New England has 1,057 yards, which is 16th in the league. 264.3 per game, which is 17th. The Bucs have 1,356, which is first. 399 per game, which is second. Total rushing, the Pats have 274, which is 30th. 68.5 per game, which is 31st. Again, this is actually really surprising to me that they haven't run it more. I really thought they would have, but hey, like I said, it is what it is. 288 total rushing yards for the Bucs, which is 28th, and 72 per game, which is 30th. Total points, the Patriots have 71 on the season, which is 26th. 17.8 per game, which is 27th. The Bucs have 122 in total, which is 5th. Also 5th in the league is their 30.5 average. Defensively, let's see. The Patriots are giving up 306.8, which is 5th. 375 for the Bucs, which is 20th. And, you know, there's going to be some opportunities, you know, like I said, in the passing game, not so much in the rushing game against the Patriots or against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But in the passing game, especially because that secondary is a bit banged up, there are going to be some opportunities. But per game, passing, the Patriots are giving up 202.3, which is third. 341.5 for the Bucs, which happens to be last in the league. Rushing yards per game, though, on the other hand, for the Patriots, they're giving up 121.8, which is 20th. And as you can see, both teams, there's a little bit of a flip-flop here, right? Patriots are third in passing, but 20th in rushing yards per game. The Bucs are 32nd in passing at 341.5, but first in the league with 47.5 rushing yards per game in the league. So they're first there. So obviously polar opposites. Points per game, the Patriots are giving up 17.5, which is 6th. The Bucs 26.3, which is 23rd. Obviously they played some tougher teams. Let's keep it real than the Patriots had to in the first few games, and that's part of it. You know, offenses that were able to put up more points. But anyway, we move on. Takeaways, the Patriots have 5, which is 13th on the list, but they're tied for they're 6th when taking ties into account. The Bucs have 6, which is 10th, 5th in the league when you take ties into account. Interceptions, the Patriots have 5, which has them at 4th, tied for 3rd. 5 for the Bucs, which is 5th, tied for 3rd. Obviously, you know, they're tied for 3rd because they both have 5. 0 fumbles for the Patriots, which is 29th, tied for 6th. 1 fumble for the Bucs, which is 23rd, but tied for 5th. Sacks, the Patriots have 10, which is 12th, tied for 6th. 7 for the Bucs, which is 27th, and tied for 9th. Passes defensed, the Patriots have 14th, which is 18th, tied for 11th, and 22 for the Bucs, which is not tied for anything. They are just cleaning away number 3 in the league. And I added third down percentage. I don't know why I didn't have it on the list, but I have it now going forward. Third down percentage, the Patriots are giving up their third down conversions at a 42.9%, which is 19th. The Bucs are giving up 48.2, which is 27th. And real quick, just to look at the Dolphins, there is, you know, some changes. Unfortunately, as you can see from the previous week, we dropped in overall total yards in our league standings. In yards per game, we have less yards per game, so we had a drop there. We had a slight increase in total passing from 30th to 29th, but obviously marginal and still in the back end of the league. We went from having 199.7 passing yards per game the previous week, a marginal decrease to 199.5, but still unfortunately a decrease, which ironically though, it equals a slight increase in the league standings from 30th to 29th. So interesting there. Total rushing, we dropped from 23rd to 26th. Rushing yards per game, we went from 92.7 back down to 78.3, which takes us from 23rd to 28th, which is currently now, well, I guess total rushing 26th is our best stat, but, 28th, obviously the offense has been pretty horrific to this point. We only have 62 points on the season, dropping us from 30th to 31st. Same league standing, same positioning for points per game, which is funny because we actually had a marginal increase from 15 to 15 and a half, but that was still ultimately a drop in the standings from 30th to 31st. Defensively, we did have a small decrease in yards per game that we were giving up from 401.3 to 388.3, but it only had a marginal increase from 25th to 24th. Obviously still not anywhere good enough. Passing yards per game, we went from 282 down to 268.5, which is the right direction. We went from 22nd to 18th. Still need to be better. Rushing yards per game, we went from 136, slight marginal increase to 136.8, and there was no change in league standings. We stayed at 27th. Points per game, we're giving up 27.3, and that didn't change from last week to this week. But we did drop in league standings from 23rd to 25th. Takeaways, we do have one more from last week, up from 5 to 6. But in our league standings, where we fall on the list, we didn't actually change any position. We went from 8th to 8th, so we stayed at 8th. But when ties are taken into account, we are 5th in the league. So let's see, interceptions, we had 2 last week, we have 2 this week. That has us from 17th last week down to 21st, but we're tied for 6th. We went from 3 fumbles to 4, didn't move anywhere in the league standings as far as the list goes. We remained at 4th, but tied for 2nd. We went from 5 sacks to 7, didn't go anywhere in league standings, remained at 26th, but we're tied for 9th. Passes defensed, we went from 17 to 21, so a little bit of an increase there. Although that has us dropping from 3rd to 5th overall, tied for 4th. And third down percentage, we're not 32nd in the league anymore, which we were last week. But, we're still 31st with 54.2% completion percentage. So, yeah, hey, man, it is what it is. This quick hit scouting report video actually ended up being a little bit longer because I actually did want to talk through the Dolphins league standings. But there you have it. That is my quick hit scouting report video for week 4 for both the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who we play this upcoming week, and the New England Patriots, who we do not see again until week 18. And with that, I hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comments section. And of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Phins up.